Hi, welcome back to 17 square meters garden. Today I'm sowing one of my all-time favorite plants, which is Coleus, and I want to show you how you can easily grow them yourself from seeds. The reason why Coleus is one of my favorite plants is because there are so many gorgeous ones to choose from. They come in all kinds of colors and leaf shapes, and they are very adaptable. They can be grown anywhere from full sun to full shade. Usually those that have a little bit thicker, more ruffled, darker leaves do better in sunny areas, while those that have green, creamy leaves do better in protected partial shade spots. You can grow them in the garden, you can grow them on your balcony in pots, and you can also treat them as houseplants. They propagate really easily through cuttings, so if you have already Coleus plant, you can very simply propagate yourself this plant to have more of the same kind, or if you want to add some new, more colorful, different varieties to your collection, then growing some from seeds is a good option. Coleus is not a very rare plant. You can easily get it at the garden center, but oftentimes I find that there's not a lot of plants to choose from, and they can also get a bit pricey. While if you grow them from seeds, not only you save some money, but you can end up with multiple different varieties, because Coleus usually comes in a seed mix. And for example, here I have a Coleus seed mix, and there's 100 seeds in this packet. So potentially, for the price of one plant, I can have 100. So what you will need to sow Coleus seeds: one medium-sized pot filled with potting mix appropriate for growing seeds, and it's really important because you want light and fluffy soil mix that will allow young roots to grow properly. You will need, of course, your seeds and a spray bottle. So the reason why I don't recommend you to take seed trays or separate seed pots is because Coleus seeds are so tiny. It will be really difficult for you to separate them one by one. So it's best to just scatter a bunch of them on top of soil and then let them germinate, and this way you can pick which colors, which plants you prefer. Take the seedlings, the healthiest, the strongest seedlings, and pot them to their separate pots later on. So once you sow your seeds, water them gently with a spray bottle, and you don't have to water them every single day, but do keep an eye on them. If you see that the top layer of soil starts to dry out, then it's a good moment to water them. You don't want them to be completely dry, and you don't want them to be completely wet. So find a good balance and keep the soil just slightly moist at all times. They need light in order to germinate, so don't cover the seeds with soil, and place them in a bright location, ideally under grow light, but if you don't have a grow light, then in front of a window. And one tip that I will give you here is when you will have your pot facing the window and your seeds will start to germinate, turn the pot 90 degrees about once a week, because your seedlings, they will start to elongate and they will start to grow towards the light, and then you will end up with misshapen seedlings. So give your pot a turn, as I said, 90 degrees every now and then, so that your seeds receive equal light exposure. Also, Coleus are not frost resistant, so you will have to wait before planting them outside until the risk of frost passes. A few words about Coleus aftercare. So once you have your seedlings potted onto their separate pots, they do not need any specific soil mix, they do not need rich soil mix, therefore they also don't need to be fertilized heavily, or they do not need to be fertilized at all, I dare to say. Last year I actually made an experiment and I fertilized my Coleus with a full strength fertilizer, and what happened is that I ended up with a giant Coleus bush. And as long as it may sound fun to have such a huge giant Coleus, they are very prone to damage from heavy winds or heavy rain, because those branches are so thick that if anything falls on them, or if they fall on the floor, if wind knocks them down, they break immediately, and then you end up with misshapen plant. So I think that not fertilizing them at all, or giving them maximum half-strength fertilizer, growth fertilizer, so fertilizer appropriate for the growth stage of your plants, that's what I would give them, half-strength maximum. I think they look better when they are just stay nice and smaller, more compact, more leafy growth than large and thick stems. Ideally, you would grow them in partial shade situation. If you have some darker colored or very ruffled leaves Coleus plants, then they can support a little bit more sun. The same goes for full shade. If we are talking about like bright indirect light situation, then that's perfectly fine, but like deep shade, that may not be optimal, because then your plant will elongate and it will not produce many leaves, so it will not look very attractive. Coleuses like a lot of water, and they will let you know when they are thirsty, because they will start to wilt. So make sure that when you give them water, you fully saturate the soil and then allow the top layer of soil to slightly dry out before you water again. So that's it for today's video. I hope that I inspired you to grow some Coleus. I really hope that you will give them a try. They are amazing plants for your balcony garden, especially if you are like me and you garden in part shade, where there's not a lot of plants that are so bright and cheerful and colorful like Coleus. If you do give them a try, do let me know. I would love to see what plants you're growing. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!